Y'all think black folks were just sitting around waiting for white businesses to serve us? Think we needed their permission to eat, to shop, to build wealth? Man, that's the biggest lie they ever sold you. I'm about to show you 10 rare photographs of black-owned businesses that fed entire communities, created generational wealth, and proved that we never needed white America's scraps. We built our own tables, and they burned them down because they couldn't compete. Welcome back to Black History in Photos, where we bring you the real, unfiltered truth they've been hiding in dusty archives hoping you'd never find it. Please subscribe to us and leave a like. This tells the algorithm we're building a movement they can't silence. Today, we're counting down 10 photographs of black businesses that sustained whole neighborhoods, employed hundreds of people, and generated millions of dollars in wealth before white supremacy destroyed them. Let's start with the facts they conveniently forgot to mention in your economics class. Between 1890 and 1930, black Americans created over 100,000 businesses across the United States despite living under Jim Crow segregation. The National Negro Business League, founded by Booker T. Washington in 1900, documented thousands of black-owned grocery stores, restaurants, banks, insurance companies, hotels, and manufacturing operations that served black communities locked out of white establishments. But here's what's going to blow your mind. These weren't just mom and pop shops struggling to survive. These were thriving enterprises that generated wealth, created jobs, and built economic power that threatened white supremacy's control. So white America responded with violence, legal restrictions, and economic sabotage designed to destroy black business districts across the country. Every photograph I'm about to show you represents a business that was either burned down, legislated out of existence, or economically strangled by white competitors who couldn't handle black success. Photo number 10 takes us to Durham, North Carolina in 1910. This image from the North Carolina State Archives shows the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company headquarters on Parish Street. Look at this building in the photograph. 3 stories of brick and marble, with ornate windows and a corner entrance that screamed prosperity. This wasn't just an insurance company. This was the largest black-owned business in America at the time, and it was headquartered in a city white folks called the capital of the black middle class. North Carolina Mutual was founded in 1898 by John Merrick, a former slave who became a millionaire. By 1910, the company had over 40,000 policyholders and employed hundreds of black agents, clerks, and managers. They insured black families that white insurance companies refused to cover, and they invested their profits back into black communities by funding mortgages, business loans, and educational scholarships. But here's what's going to make you furious. White insurance companies tried everything to destroy North Carolina Mutual. They lobbied for laws requiring higher capital reserves that would bankrupt black insurers. They spread rumors that black companies were financially unstable. They pressured white banks to deny credit to black businesses. But North Carolina Mutual survived and thrived because the black community supported it, proving that economic self-sufficiency was possible even under Jim Crow. This photograph captures black excellence in business at a time when white America claimed we were too ignorant and lazy to manage complex enterprises. This building still stands today, a monument to what we built when they said we couldn't. Number 9 shows us a photograph from the Library of Congress dated 1920. This image captures the interior of the Pythian Temple building in New York City, specifically the Pythian Market on the ground floor. Look at this photograph. Rows of vendor stalls selling fresh produce, meats, baked goods, and household items. Black vendors serving black customers in a space designed to keep money circulating within the community. The Pythian Temple was built in 1927 by the Knights of Pythias, a black fraternal organization, and it was the first building in Harlem designed, financed, and constructed entirely by black people. The ground floor market provided affordable food to Harlem residents while creating jobs for black vendors who were excluded from white-owned markets. But here's what makes this photograph so powerful. The Pythian Market was a direct response to economic exploitation. White-owned stores in Harlem charged higher prices and refused to hire black employees, even though black customers provided all their revenue. So the black community built their own market, controlled their own supply chains, and kept their dollars in their own neighborhoods. This photograph represents economic resistance. It shows black folks refusing to accept exploitation and building alternatives that serve their community's needs. The Pythian Temple still stands today, but the market is long gone. replaced by gentrification that pushed black vendors and customers out of the neighborhood they built. Photo number 8 takes us to Chicago, Illinois in 1919. This image from the Chicago History Museum shows the Binga State Bank on State Street. Look at this building in the photograph. Marble columns, brass fixtures, teller windows staffed by black employees serving black customers. This was the first black-owned bank in Chicago, founded by Jesse Binga in 1908, and by 1919 it held over $1 million in deposits. Binga State Bank provided mortgages to black families trying to buy homes in a city where white banks practiced systematic redlining. The bank financed black businesses, funded community development projects, and proved that black financial institutions could compete with white banks. Jesse Binga himself became one of the wealthiest black men in America, owning real estate across Chicago's South Side. But here's what's going to make you see red. When the Great Depression hit in 1929, white banks that had engaged in reckless speculation received government bailouts. Binga State Bank, which had made conservative loans to black families and businesses, received nothing. The bank failed in 1930, and Jesse Binga lost everything. He died in poverty in 1950, a victim of a system that protected white wealth while abandoning black enterprise. This photograph captures a moment when black folks controlled their own financial destiny. It also represents the systemic racism that ensured black banks couldn't survive economic crises that white banks weathered with government support. Number 7 shows us a photograph from the Schomburg Center dated 1935. This image captures the interior of Blumstein's department store in Harlem during the Don't Buy Where You Can't Work campaign. But wait, Blumstein's was a white-owned store. So why is this photograph important? Look closer at the image. You see black protesters outside with signs demanding that the store hire black employees. And you see the empty aisles inside because the black community boycotted. The campaign worked. After months of protests and economic pressure, Blumstein's agreed to hire black workers for positions beyond janitors and elevator operators. This photograph represents economic power wielded through collective action. The black community in Harlem had enough purchasing power to force white businesses to change their discriminatory practices or go bankrupt. But here's what makes this image so significant. It shows that black folks understood economic leverage decades before the civil rights movement. They knew that white businesses depended on black dollars, and they used that dependency to demand fair treatment. This photograph captures a strategy that would be used throughout the South during the civil rights era, proving that economic boycotts were powerful weapons against segregation. Photo number 6 takes us to Atlanta, Georgia in 1940. This image from the Auburn Avenue Research Library shows the Atlanta Life Insurance Company headquarters on Auburn Avenue, known as Sweet Auburn, the richest Negro street in the world. Look at this building in the photograph. 6 stories of Art Deco architecture, with the company name in bold letters visible for blocks. This was the second largest black-owned insurance company in America, founded by Alonzo Herndon in 1905. Herndon was born into slavery in 1858 and became a millionaire by building a business empire that included barbershops, real estate, and insurance. Atlanta Life employed over 2,000 people at its peak and insured over 100,000 black families across the South. The company invested its profits in black colleges, hospitals, and community development projects. But here's what's powerful about this photograph. Sweet Auburn was a thriving black business district that rivaled any white commercial area in the South. Black-owned banks, theaters, restaurants, hotels, and professional offices lined the street, creating a self-sufficient economy that didn't depend on white patronage. This photograph proves that segregation, while oppressive and unjust, forced black communities to build their own institutions that generated real wealth and power. The tragedy is that integration, while morally necessary, often meant the death of black business districts like Sweet Auburn. When black customers gained access to white stores, they abandoned black businesses, and the wealth that had circulated within the community started flowing out. This photograph captures a moment of black economic power that we've never fully recovered. Number 5 shows us a photograph from the Library of Congress dated 1945. This image captures the interior of Paschal's restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia. Look at this photograph. White tablecloths, black waiters in crisp uniforms, black families and business people dining in an elegant space that rivaled any white establishment. Paschal's was founded by brothers James and Robert Paschal in 1947, and it became the unofficial headquarters of the civil rights movement in Atlanta. Martin Luther King Jr., Ralph Abernathy, Andrew Young, and other civil rights leaders held strategy meetings at Paschal's. The restaurant provided free meals to activists and protesters. It was a safe space where Black folks could gather, organize, and plan the campaigns that would dismantle Jim Crow. But Paschal's wasn't just a meeting place. It was a successful business that employed dozens of people and served thousands of customers. But here's what makes this photograph so important. It shows that Black businesses weren't just about making money. They were community institutions that supported the freedom struggle. The Paschal brothers risked their business by hosting civil rights meetings that white authorities wanted to shut down. They understood that economic power and political power were connected, and they used their business to advance both. This photograph represents the intersection of Black entrepreneurship and Black liberation. It proves that our businesses have always been more than commercial enterprises. They've been spaces of resistance, organizing, and community building. Photo number 4 takes us to Memphis, Tennessee in 1950. This image from the Memphis Public Library archives shows the Tri-State Bank of Memphis on Beale Street. Look at this building in the photograph, modern architecture with large windows and a prominent sign announcing the bank's name. This was the first Black-owned bank in Memphis, founded in 1946 by Dr. J.E. Walker, who also ran Universal Life Insurance Company. Tri-State Bank financed the civil rights movement in ways that white banks never would. They provided loans to Black families trying to buy homes in white neighborhoods. They funded Black businesses that couldn't get credit from white banks. Most importantly, they provided the financial backing for the Montgomery bus boycott by lending money to the Montgomery Improvement Association to purchase station wagons for the carpool system that sustained the boycott for over a year. But here's what's going to make you furious. White banks in Memphis tried to destroy Tri-State by pressuring white businesses not to deposit money there and by spreading rumors about the bank's financial stability. But the Black community rallied around Tri-State, increasing their deposits and ensuring the bank survived. This photograph captures an institution that understood its mission was bigger than profit. It was about financing freedom. Number 3 shows us a photograph from the Schomburg Center dated 1955. This image captures the exterior of the Hotel Theresa in Harlem, New York. Look at this building in the photograph. 13 stories of brick and limestone, with a marquee announcing famous guests and events. The Hotel Theresa was known as the Waldorf of Harlem, and it was the most prestigious hotel that welcomed Black guests when white hotels practiced strict segregation. The Hotel Theresa hosted everyone from Joe Louis to Josephine Baker to Fidel Castro, who famously stayed there in 1960 when he visited the United Nations. The hotel's ballroom hosted concerts, political rallies, and community events. It was a symbol of Black elegance and sophistication in an era when white America tried to portray Black people as inferior. But here's what makes this photograph so significant. The Hotel Theresa proved that Black folks could create world-class institutions that attracted international attention. When Castro chose to stay at the Hotel Theresa instead of a white hotel in Midtown Manhattan, it was a political statement that recognized Harlem as a center of Black power and culture. This photograph captures a moment when a Black-owned business commanded respect on the world stage. Photo number 2 takes us to Los Angeles, California in 1960. This image from the Los Angeles Public Library archives shows the Golden State Mutual Life Insurance Company headquarters on Western Avenue. Look at this building in the photograph. A modern structure with a distinctive facade featuring murals by Black artists depicting African American history. This was the largest Black-owned business west of the Mississippi, founded in 1925 by William Nickerson Jr. and Norman Houston. Golden State Mutual insured over 200,000 Black families by 1960 and employed over 500 people. The company invested heavily in Black neighborhoods, financing housing developments, shopping centers, and business parks that created jobs and wealth in South Central Los Angeles. The building itself was a statement, with murals celebrating Black achievement in a city where Black history was largely invisible. But here's what's powerful about this photograph. Golden State Mutual understood that business success came with social responsibility. The company funded scholarships, supported civil rights organizations, and used its economic power to fight discrimination in housing and employment. This photograph represents a model of black capitalism that prioritized community benefit alongside profit. The tragedy is that Golden State Mutual, like many black insurance companies, struggled after integration when black customers gained access to white insurers. The company was eventually sold, and the building now houses other businesses. This photograph captures a moment of black economic power that we've struggled to rebuild. And our #1 photograph shows us an image from the Library of Congress dated 1921. This captures the Williams Dreamland Theater on Greenwood Avenue in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just days before the Tulsa Race Massacre. Look at this building in the photograph, a beautiful 2-story structure with ornate details, electric lights illuminating the marquee, and well-dressed black patrons entering for an evening show. This theater seated 750 people and showed first-run films that white theaters in Tulsa wouldn't screen for black audiences. The Dreamland Theater was owned by John and Lula Williams, who built a business empire in Greenwood that included a garage, a rooming house, and a confectionery. The theater was the crown jewel of Black Wall Street, a symbol of the prosperity and culture that black Tulsans had created in just 20 years since Oklahoma statehood. So, there you have it. 10 photographs of black businesses that fed communities, created jobs, generated wealth, and proved that we never needed white America's permission to succeed. These images show grocery stores, banks, insurance companies, hotels, restaurants, and theaters that served black folks with dignity and excellence when white establishments refused us service. But here's what they don't want you to understand. These businesses weren't just commercial enterprises. They were acts of resistance. Every black-owned store was a rejection of white supremacy's claim that we were inferior. Every black bank was proof that we could manage complex financial systems. Every black insurance company demonstrated that we could build institutions that lasted generations. These images prove that black entrepreneurship has always existed, has always been excellent, and has always been targeted for destruction. From the Tulsa Race Massacre to urban renewal projects that bulldozed black business districts to integration policies that redirected black dollars to white businesses, every era has seen systematic attacks on black economic power. Now let's do a moral audit, because this is about more than just business history. This is about justice and reparations. Scripture tells us in Leviticus 6 verse 4, when they sin in any of these ways and realize their guilt, they must return what they have stolen. White America stole black wealth through violence, legal discrimination, and economic sabotage. These photographs document the theft. Where is the return? Where is the restitution? The businesses in these photographs generated millions of dollars in wealth that should have been passed down through generations. Instead, that wealth was destroyed, and black communities have never recovered. The racial wealth gap we see today is a direct result of the systematic destruction of black businesses documented in these images. But here's what I need my black family to understand. These photographs aren't just about what we lost. They're about what we're capable of building. Our ancestors created these businesses with almost nothing, facing violence and discrimination at every turn. If they could do that, imagine what we could do today with the resources and opportunities they never had. We need to study the strategies that made these businesses successful. They understood that economic power required community support. They invested their profits back into black neighborhoods. They hired black employees and trained them for leadership. They used their businesses as platforms for political organizing and community building. These photographs are blueprints for building black economic power. They show us what worked, what was destroyed, and what we need to protect as we rebuild. Every image represents a lesson in resilience, strategy, and community solidarity that we need to apply to our current struggles. So the next time you see a black-owned business, support it. The next time you have a choice between a white corporation and a black entrepreneur, choose black. The next time someone tells you that black businesses can't compete, show them these photographs and remind them that we've always competed and won until white supremacy changed the rules. Now let me tell you what really gets me heated about these photographs. Every single one of these businesses was better than the white competition. Better service, better quality, better prices. And white folks couldn't handle it. So instead of competing fairly, they burned us down, passed laws to shut us out, and then had the nerve to claim we failed because we were inferior. Man, that's some demonic level gaslighting right there. You destroy someone's business and then blame them for not being successful? That's exactly what white America did, and they're still doing it today. Look at gentrification. Black folks build a neighborhood, create culture, open businesses, and as soon as it gets nice, white folks move in, raise the rent, and push us out. Then they act like they discovered the neighborhood and made it cool. Same playbook, different century. These photographs prove that we've always been builders, always been entrepreneurs, always been excellent at creating wealth and community. But white supremacy can't let us have that because our success exposes their lies about racial superiority. So they destroy what we build and then write history books that pretend we never built anything in the first place. But we got the receipts. These photographs are evidence that can't be denied, and we're going to keep showing them until every lie is exposed and every stolen dollar is accounted for. This is vintage Black America, and we're not letting them bury our history ever again.